All right, so now we are getting into my like cool toned smoky palette drawer. So we're gonna start off with that. I'll pull this one off first. This is the Wild Jaguar palette from Huda Beauty. This is an absolutely stunning palette. One of my favorite palettes that I tried last year, so definitely gonna hang on to that. Same with this palette. I don't know why I'm so drawn to this palette, but every time I use it, I'm obsessed with the look that I come up with, so definitely that's not going anywhere. Lorac Pro Noir, same thing. Really, really like this. The only thing I don't like is the fact that they didn't put the shade names in there. I guess they did that because they said you could like pop things out and rearrange them, but I don't care. I'd rather have the names there and know that that's not really the name of the shade than to have to hang on to this stupid paper. So that's the only drawback there, but I really like that palette. I'm going to still hang on to this one too. This is the Martine Cosmetics 669 palette, which looks like this. It's got some really pretty like dark black silvery kind of shades, so definitely going to hang on to that one. Their multi-chrome formula though is definitely like a little soft, like a little thin. Not my favorite, but the rest of the palette's really nice. And I do have some other multi-chromes that I can supplement this with, so we'll keep that. Morphe and Ashley Strong palette. I don't know why on earth I picked this palette up. I feel like I was drawn to these like really dark smoky shades, but I don't think I need it, so I'm just gonna let it go, and somebody else can get some use out of it. Same with this palette. This is the e.l.f. Earthy Classics. This is another palette that I bought to try to avoid buying this palette, and clearly I bought this palette anyway, so I don't need this one, so I'm going to let that one go. I think I've only swatched like 2 shades out of this one, so it's basically brand new. And then I guess we'll talk about Natasha Denona Glam next. That's what this one looks like. Very pretty color story, of course, and Natasha Denona has excellent quality, so we'll be hanging on to this one. I have the Nomad Berlin Underground palette, which looks like this. It's a really funky, cool color story, and I'm definitely going to keep this one. Like I said, I have a hard time getting rid of Nomad palettes because I'm kind of like collecting them. Not that I have to buy every single one, but I do really enjoy the collection that I have, so I'm going to hang on to that one. Now, this is the other palette that I tried to buy to avoid buying Soft Glam. Looks awfully familiar, doesn't it? This is the Alter Ego dupe for the Soft Glam palette, so I'm going to let this one go because I have Soft Glam. This is the Nabla Dreamy 2 palette, which looks like this. This shade in here is like a really pretty like glittery topper shade, and every time I use this palette I end up using that shade because it's so stunning. Definitely going to keep that. The KVD Metal Matte palette, this is back when it was Kat Von D actually. I'm going to go ahead and keep this one, and I think the shades in here, the blue, the green, and the purple, are going to be similar enough to the Nubian palette that I can go ahead and let the Nubian go. So let's swatch these out. Gosh, these are so soft. Actually, the green looks like it's a little different, but the green is definitely different, but I think the rest of it is similar enough that I can let that go. So I'm going to let the Nubian go as well. And we'll be keeping Matte Metal. Alright, Lunar Beauty Eternal Eclipse. This is another brand that I really like buying a lot of palettes from. I have not picked up their nude one because I have so many neutral palettes, but I do really like this one. I love this metallic like gunmetal shade here and this really beautiful silver. I love the sparkly black, so hanging on to that one. This is another really great little palette. This thing is like teeny tiny. It's so cute. This is a Viseart Paris Attendu palette, and I really love the compact nature of this palette. The blue, the purple, and the gray are definitely more on like the lightly pigmented side, so if I had my way they'd be a little bit more vibrant, but I do think this is a really pretty color story and I'm going to hang on to it. Venus Immortalis palette. Listen, I have a bone to pick with Lime Crime because first of all, they were like rebranding or whatever. I guess they were trying to like lower all their prices, so they put out an announcement that said they were lowering everything by 30 to 50%, and they only lowered the price of their palettes by $8. So if that's how much they wanted to lower them, that's fine. But then they should have made their little statement say they were lowering things from 20 to 50%, because the palettes did not go down by 30% or higher. They went down by like 15 to 20%. So I don't know why they do that. It's very confusing and misleading, but whatever. I have this palette. This is, I think, the only thing I have from Lime Crime in terms of palettes, and I do really like it. Love these two metallics here. Definitely going to keep this. I have the ABH Sultry palette. This was the Christmas palette from 2019, 2018, something like that. This one is really, really pretty. And like the Cyborg shade, Pearl, Rose Quartz, like these shades are just so beautiful. So I'm definitely hanging on to this one as well. Revolution Pro. I love how like this looks like spooky haunted Halloween stuff. And then this is the Inside Color Story. I like this blue shade a lot, and I like this shade a lot too. You see how pretty that navy blue is? I wonder if I have anything else that looks like that in my collection, because it's almost duochrome the way that it comes across like that. I think I might have some singles that kind of pull like that, so we may or may not be able to get rid of this one. I'm going to put it in the maybe pile. Profusion Smoky Palette. I really like this one. That's why it's so beat up. Like, it looks like it went through the washer. But this one looks really nice. I love this shimmer here because it's nice and cool toned, sparkly, and I usually mix it with this purple shade. I have a lot of stuff like this, so I think once I do my palette ranking for the Profusion palettes, I'll probably let this one go too. Urban Decay Naked Smoky palette looks like this. Again, I picked this up half price back when the Urban Decay palettes were like super hyped, and I haven't used it as much as I want to, but I do think the shades are really pretty in here, so I'll probably hang on to it for a little while longer because it's still very pretty. Lorac Pro 2. This is, wow, this is going back in history a little bit. I do really like this palette. I love the shimmers in here. I love this navy blue shade. I'm definitely going to hang on to this one. Even though I don't think I use it as much as I should, I really like this one, so we'll hang on to it. And then we've got some more of those Revolution Pat McGrath dupes. So this is the Earth and Stone palette, and it looks like this. There's really pretty like duochrome type shades here. You have this really pretty green here, and then some like basic earth tones to kind of fill it out. Like that one a lot, so we'll keep that. And then Night and Day, I think this one's probably my favorite. This is a dupe for the Pat McGrath 2, I think, Divine 2, or I don't know, the second one. So let me see. Like, that's what those shades look like. Very, very pretty. And then you have this really pretty, like, smoky kind of pearl shade there too. Yeah, definitely hanging on to those. Alright, and that's all of my kind of like smoky tone palettes. Let's wrap this video up here. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Make sure you have notifications on because there are going to be more declutter videos coming your way very, very soon.